Hi there, I'm Nicola Marshall, founder of BraveHeart Education, and we specialise in social care and education for children. We founded BraveHeart 5 years ago as a response to our own journey with our children. We adopted 3 children who were in primary school at the time, and that brought us into this world of attachment and trauma with a bang, as you can imagine. So I've spent the last 9 years trying to figure out what this means. What is different about our children? What are the messages that they receive? What's their behaviour about? And how can they settle better in education in order to learn? And on this journey, we've come across many other parents like ourselves who have children who've experienced difficulties for whatever reason. They may experience a condition such as autism or fetal alcohol or ADHD. They may have experienced trauma. They may be suffering with mental health issues. And a lot of them struggle with our educational system. So BraveHeart is all about trying to help and support educators to really understand what's happening for children on an emotional level and to be able to help them to learn better. So we spend our days going out and visiting schools. We do observations of children in schools. We do lots of training with staff. We've written books and have lots of resources available for schools. And it's something that's really close to my heart because of my own journey with my own children. So the question that's been on my mind over the last 5 years as I've been working with different schools is, are we adequately equipping our young people for adult life? Is our educational system fit for purpose? Is it meeting the complex needs that we have today? And I'm convinced that actually the demographics of children that we have in our system are much different to how they used to be. There are lots more about trauma that we know. There are lots of mental health issues. Now, whether these have increased or whether we are just more aware of them, I don't know. The fact still remains, though, that actually the types of children that we're dealing with complex needs is much different to how it used to be. So you could say, in effect, that the terrain that we're dealing with, or the landscape, is different. But are we still driving the same vehicles? Are we still expecting our systems of behaviour modification, of testing, of measuring children against each other, of academic achievement? Are we expecting those systems to still work on very different children? If you look at an average classroom, for example, in that class you may have 10 children whose parents have separated. You may have 8 children who have experienced some kind of severe physical, sexual abuse or neglect. You will have 1 child whose parent has died, and you may have 7 children who have been bullied. That's an awful lot of children who are struggling with lots of issues around emotional and social development, not so much around academic. And just focusing on the academic for those children is going to be very, very difficult for them. The other thing that we're doing in education, of course, is not just driving the same vehicle, but we're expecting the driver to be doing everything. We're expecting the teacher to be able to be the psychologist, the parent sometimes, certainly the educator. We're expecting them to be the social worker. We're expecting them to do everything for children as all of our services are being cut. And that can be really, really difficult. So what's the answer for this? I think one of the answers is actually looking not so much at trying to get children to change, but actually looking at us as adults and looking at our system and how can we change our approach? How can we change the vehicle to whatever the terrain might be? So that's a story that I think is really important at the moment to get out there into the general public, because all of us know people who are struggling in different ways. And I'm convinced that actually there's not many of us who can say that the school years were the best years of our lives. And what a shame that is. Wouldn't it be great if we could make that different? And if we could actually give children the space to learn who they are, to be proud of themselves in whatever skills that they have, and to be able to become functioning adults in our society.